All right, today we've got 60 seconds on and 30 seconds rest. The 60 seconds on in every case is 30 seconds each direction. All right, so we've got a movement that we've done before, but if you're relatively new, jumping on, probably haven't done it. So we've done a version of the clean before, like we just did it, where you pop the weight up from the floor and pop it up here. We're gonna do a one-hand clean, right? So that means we're here, we're pulling from the floor, and if you have a kettlebell, you pull it right up to your shoulder here. It kind of sits touching the back of your arm and your shoulder all together, right? So you just kind of like, there's a spot in there that it sort of sits. So if you're using a kettlebell, you'll do it that way. If you're using a dumbbell, you'll just pull up and hold it kind of off of your body. So we're going to do what's called a hero clean. And so what that looks like is it's kind of, you turn this foot out, or I guess you turn your heel out, point your toe in. It's kind of like a strange version of a lunge, of like a reverse lunge. So you kind of step out to the side here, just sort of spin your heel out. And then from here, you're popping up. We go right back down to the floor, and come up. So you're not going to be going all the way down and touching your knee, but just to get some leverage on the weight, you're going to sort of turn your heel out. So we're here, pull up, and catch up at the top. Turn that toe out. You may touch to the ground, you may not. Either way, we just want to, it's kind of a rotation and a pull so that you can park that weight up by your shoulder. So you're going to go 60 seconds there, 30 seconds there, and then I'll call the halfway point and we switch sides. All right, so that's the first one. Second one is a diagonal press. So you're going to take a step forward, so one foot in front of the other, and then the diagonal press, you go from low on the back side to high on the front side. So it's kind of like a lift from the floor and rotate and press up. If you're using a kettlebell, you'll hold the handle, kind of pushing up and across, just a diagonal pattern. So we go 30 seconds on one side. If you're using a dumbbell, maybe you can hold the sides, or you may have to hold the end and change your grip, which gets a little weird. But yeah, if you can, with the dumbbell, hold the sides, and you'll go from low on the back side to high on the front side, the side that's with the leg that's forward. All right, and then we'll switch and do the other side. Lateral lunge and row. This has become kind of one of my favorites. Stepping, although we still don't do it enough, I don't think. So we're just combining two movements here. So we step out into the lateral lunge. As you step out, you're going to kind of let your chest face the floor. So you're pushing your hips back. And once you get down there, you row, and then we come back. All right? So you'll step out, down for the row, and then bring your feet back together. So every time we're just going through reps like this. So that should be good. So Amy, either just stepping out and hinging back and doing the row, or yeah, I'm sure you can, like, don't make it a reverse lunge. You'll just kind of reach back into like a hip hinge and tap. So lunge as much as you can, but we've also got to get your chest to face the floor for the row. Last one, box crawl. So this is just kind of using the small space around you to crawl. So you might take a few steps forward, a few steps sideways, a few steps backwards, and then back to complete the square. So we're going one way for 30 seconds, and then the other way for 30 seconds for a total of 1 minute. Lots of rest in between, 30 seconds. We're going to do 4 rounds. Okay? So with that, let's go ahead and jump on the roller. Starting with your legs. So yeah, the I think the crawl is going to be pretty challenging. So you've got a minute of the crawl in that crawling position, that 90-90 position. But the other ones I think are enough variety, and with switching sides won't be too horrifying, I guess. And if any issues pop up as we go along, just shout at me, and we'll make sure we get it corrected or get you a modification that works for you. All right, so rolling, also shifting side to side. Pulling those muscles from one side to the other. So we're rolling over them, and we're also sort of pulling them around, pulling on that tissue. All right, so we're just rolling into your hips here. We'll roll to one side, get the outside of your hip. You can go down your leg. It's usually pretty painful, or I shouldn't say painful, I should say it's a lot more sensitive than other areas. And you actually, most of the benefit comes from rolling up above your hip bone anyway. So there's not a lot of reasons to go down there, to go down the side of your leg, because you're not really affecting any tissue length there. All right, rolling over to your other cheek. If you don't have a foam roller, tennis balls, baseballs, any kind of household item that you have around can work, can help. You're obviously just not going to be rolling back and forth. You'll be sitting on top of it or moving it back and forth, kind of giving yourself a self massage. Okay. Let's move that roller up your back, just under your shoulder blades. And roll to one side. And the other. And good. So just moving the roller off to the side. Get started with a stretch here. Starting off, we're going to go with a glute bridge. So we're going to push your hips up. Belly nice and strong, just pushing your hips. You don't have to arch up to the ceiling, so don't worry about how high your hips get. We're just making your cheeks strong. Second part of this is we're gonna get like an upper body and shoulder stretch here. So with arms straight, you're gonna reach up like you're doing a snow angel. Okay, so we're just reaching along the ground here. Butt strong, belly strong. Taking your shoulders through a range of motion, trying to keep the back of your forearms on the ground. So if you find a spot that feels like a good stretch, you can hang there for a second. We're going to go for about 10 more seconds. All right, and the only thing we're changing here, we'll keep your hips up, but we're going to slide now. So we'll slide up into the letter Y, and then we're sliding down, keeping your forearms parallel to each other. Think about making the letter W. Sliding up and down, we'll go 10 more seconds here. Just getting that shoulder stretch, chest stretch. And relax. All right, rolling over to one side, stack those knees up on top of each other. You're gonna keep your knees glued right together, opening up try to open your chest up to the ceiling. And we'll close. We'll go 20 seconds here. So you can either do the reps or just stay open and get that stretch. It's totally up to you. 10 more seconds. And roll it over. We'll go to the other side. Five more seconds. And relax. Coming up to one knee. Just tucking that tailbone under, getting a big hip flexor stretch here. If being on your knee is painful at all, you can also do this standing, right? So we push that one leg back. Now we're keeping our tailbone tucked under, looking for a stretch down the front of this leg. Good. From there, we're going to take your hands to the floor, pushing your hips down towards the floor. So you push your chest away and push your hips down towards the floor. So just a slightly different hip flexor stretch on the back leg. Then we should also be stretching up underneath this leg, your front leg. Last part of this, you can leave your knee on the ground if you want, or you can push up towards the sky. So we straighten and bend, straighten, bend. Exhale as you straighten that leg. Inhale as you bend. And relax. Let's go to the other side. So hip flexor stretch first. Again, keeping that tailbone nice and heavy, like it's weighted down towards the floor. Let's go hands to the floor. Pushing your hips down to the floor, pushing your chest away. We should be feeling a stretch on the back leg still, on the hip flexor, on the front of your hip. And then this front leg, you're going to get a stretch up underneath. And from there, you're going to exhale and push your hips up towards the ceiling. Inhale and come down. So we're looking for an extra hamstring stretch. Last one. And good. Let's come on up to standing. All right, so just a two-way lunge here. We're going to step forward, take that same foot out to the side. We'll go for about 20 seconds here, just getting hips and legs warmed up. We are going to be doing lateral lunges today, so we want to get that movement started. 10 seconds. And let's switch sides. So stepping forward, take that same leg, step out to the side. Ten seconds left. And good. Let's get ready to get moving. So grab your weight. You can use either a dumbbell or a kettlebell for this. It's your choice. I think kettlebell probably works better, but if you're limited to using dumbbells, use dumbbells. Remember, we're starting with that hero clean. You're going to pop your heel out to the side. So there's that little bit of a turn, sort of turning into your planted leg. And then pulling from there, you'll come up tall. Then we'll explain the rest. Okay? So we'll get started in 10 seconds here. Let's get your weight, grab it, and have it nearby. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So whichever side you're grabbing the weight with, that heel is going to turn out, pulling up. It's kind of a half of a lunge. If the rotation doesn't work for you, you can just turn it into a kind of a reverse lunge. 5 seconds on this side. And let's switch sides. Five seconds left. And rest. So if you're stuck with one weight, the next one you're just going to have to, like with the diagonal press, kind of have to, you're stuck with what you got. But if you have some options, you might need to lower the weight a little bit. I could actually use a little less weight than this for the diagonal press, but we're taking it from the back side and pressing it up to the front side. We'll go 3, 2, 1. Let's go 30 seconds. Remember, if you have a dumbbell, you're going to grab each side if you can. Three seconds, 2, 1, and switch sides. So we're going from the back side up to the front side. With some shoulder rotation there. So you are going to rotate, turn and press. 10 seconds left. Three, 2, 1, and rest. Next one's going to be the lateral lunge. So we step out to the side. As you step out, you're going to push your hips back. So think of that. As you push your hips back, your chest is going to face the floor. We do 1 row, and we come back. All right. Getting started in 2, 1, and here we go. Stepping out to the side, chest faces the floor, give it 1 row, we come back up. Ten seconds left on this side. Maybe you may, let's switch sides. Maybe it might be a better idea for you just to keep your feet there if you're doing the lateral lunge. So don't lunge, just step and pull in. So you'll be doing lateral squats instead of lunges. That goes for anybody too. If you have any kind of issue with the lunge, you can make it a squat where you keep your feet glued to the ground. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, the crawl is next. Okay, so we're getting ready. We're going to try to stay in that crawl position. If crawling is a problem or causes any issues, turn it upside down and we'll make it a dead bug. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So if you're crawling, you're crawling. If you're not, we're just going to make it a dead bug where we reach. This would be if you have any knee or low back or wrist limitations that keep you from doing the crawl. But if you can do the crawl, let's do that. Remember, we're just moving in a box. Always moving in opposition. 3, 2, 1, let's switch directions. So moving in opposition means if your left foot is stepping, your right hand should be stepping. Might take a little bit more thought on the sideways movements. 10 seconds. Usually the less you think about it, the better off you are. And rest. Good, 30 seconds rest. Back up top for the hero clean. So that was round 1 out of 4. A little bit longer rounds today. Ten seconds left to rest. Three, 2, 1, and here we go. Turning that heel out, pop the weight up and catch. If you feel weird about turning and rotating, I think it's an important part of this, but if it doesn't feel right, you can just take a step backwards and then bring it up. Take a step backwards and bring it up. So it's totally up to you there. Uh, 3 seconds. And switching sides, here we go. Three seconds, 2, 1, and relax. Good. How's everybody doing with that one? Doing all right? It's a little different. Yeah, we don't get a lot of rotation, especially around like knees and hips. So I like that little bit of rotation. Just need to make sure that we're being smart with it. Okay, 5 seconds. And diagonal press, here we go. From the back side to the front. Think of it as that diagonal pattern like you're pulling your seatbelt on, or like you're pulling your seatbelt down. And switch sides. Fifteen seconds left. Three seconds, 2, 1, and rest. So the lateral lunge and row are next. Again, if the lateral lunge doesn't work for you, instead of stepping out each time, you'll just keep your feet glued there. That way you can really control how much weight or pressure you have on that side. Okay, starting in 3, 2, 1, here we go. If you want to get really particular with it, you can rotate that kettlebell so your palm will face your ribs when you get up to the top. Switch in 3, 2, 1, switching to the other side. So your palm will face out at the bottom, and your palm will face your ribs when you get to the top. Five seconds. 2, 1, and rest. Crawl is next. Ten seconds left to rest. All right, getting started in 2, 1, and here we go, box crawl. As we go on here, remember we're trying to keep your knees close to the ground. Keep your butt from reaching up towards the ceiling. Switch directions. So we're thinking of your back like a tabletop. And if you had some plates on your back, you wouldn't spill your dinner. So keeping that back nice and flat like a tabletop. Five seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right, we're halfway through the workout this morning. 2 rounds left. Back up top for the hero clean. Five seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Ten seconds left on this side. And switch. Switching to the other hand. Turning that heel out. So the toes that are pointing forward, that leg should be doing most of the work as you pull from the ground. You're not going to have a lot of weight on the foot that's turned. 3 seconds. And rest. Diagonal press is next. We're really working on a lot of balance with that diagonal press because the weight is changing from one side to the other. Your body has to account for that. 5 seconds. And here we go. So if you want to make this more challenging, say maybe the weight you have is low, you want to make it more challenging, make your base more narrow. So almost like you're standing on a balance beam. If you want to make it easier, set that back foot out and make your base nice and wide. And switch sides. Remember, you can play with the width of your feet. Most of your weight's going to be on your front leg. Ten seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Lateral lunge to row, or lateral squat to row. Okay, Getting going in 2 seconds. 1, and off we go. 1 lateral lunge or lateral squat, 1 row. Remember this one, it's okay for your chest to face the floor. So we're really going to push your hips back. Sit that weight into your heel. Face down towards the floor. And switch sides. Ten seconds left. 2, 1, and relax. Crawl number 3 coming up. All right, 3 seconds, 2, 1, and here we go. Switch directions. 25 seconds left. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Remember, if at any point you need to flip that over into a dead bug, basically upside down crawling. Obviously, won't have the same amount of weight. I think there's more benefits to the crawling, but if there's something that keeps you from the crawl, then you can go ahead and flip it over. All right, last set here. Hero clean starting in 1 second, and off we go. Turn that heel out, pop the weight up. So the leg that you're standing on, not the one that's turned out, it's going to be the one to give you that lift. So we push through the floor. You should have enough momentum to pull that weight up to your shoulder. 2, 1, and switch sides. Ten seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Nice long rest before the press. All right, and off we go. Guess it wasn't that low. All right, from the low on the back side, high on the front side. Switching sides, here we go. Halfway there, 15 seconds left. Five seconds. 2, 1, rest. A lateral lunge with the row. Ten seconds. 2, 1, and here we go. Usually we'll say in the gym, if you're reaching down, if you're trying to touch the weight to the floor, that's not exactly where we want to be. But for this one, it works out pretty well since we are going to be facing the floor a little bit more. So if you tap to the floor, that works. Switch sides. Ten seconds. 2, 1, rest. No more weights for the day. Just one more set of the box crawl. All right, 5 seconds. Last minute of work for the morning. Here we go. And go. Switching directions in 5, 3, 2, 1. Switch directions. Remember, trying to keep your hips nice and low. Hips and shoulders should be the same distance away from the floor. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right, so we went a little bit longer than usual today by a few minutes, so if you got to take off, go ahead and take off. We'll just take a minute, get our breath back here. Remember, take a second, stand tall, fill your lungs with air. Give yourself a pat on the back for getting up early, getting a workout in. Let's take 30 more seconds. Okay. All right, everybody, you're on with your day. Have a good one. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, Thursday, recovery days. It's a little lighter on the workouts.
Thanks, bro.
All right. Ciao, everybody. Good to see you, Mark. Amy, take care of yourself. Bye, Elaine.